Hello again, YouTube. Welcome to another day on gardening in South Carolina. We're doing another day of setting up our garden for the 2018 crop seasons. We put in some plants last night. Wanted to show you what we're doing, where we're at. This first row here along the fence brick line, with all the little straws, that's just marking where my wife needs to water the plants. These are cantaloupes and or cucumbers, one of the two. I can't remember what she said. That's why I put little signs on mine. Anyway, starting the second row off is the bell peppers. We started off with red bell peppers, and then we went into yellow bell peppers. And then on the next row here, we have leeks. And leeks go all the way up till you see these little weird potholes. And these little potholes are actual onions. So we actually planted the onion bulbs down in there. And they go all the way to the end of this walk path and then across to the next section are just more onions. We use a lot of onions for different, miscellaneous things, but with everything else that I'm about to show you, it'll make more sense. This is considered our my salsa side of the garden. After all of her straw area here, which is I think it's cucumbers, could be something different. She also planted some cherry tomatoes by these last 4 straws. And then I put Romo tomatoes. And of course I got the little pack that has 6 of them in it at the local home improvement center. And I always look for the ones that have doubles in some of the little holes so that you actually end up with more than just the 6 for better value. So I ended up with 8 of these in the box that I had. So instead of 6, I get 8 plants. So more tomatoes for me. The next set here, which will be my spicy aisle, I have jalapeno hot peppers going down, and followed by those are going to be the dragon cayenne peppers, which I've never tried, but we'll see how they turn out. And then I got the two ghost peppers on the very end. I've never tried them, but either I'll grow them and sell them, or give them away, or trick people who need them, one of the two. We'll see how that goes. And then the one right before that is these little habaneros, which are also, it says it's a hot pepper, but I got them because they look like little pumpkins, miniature pumpkins, so they kind of look cute to me. Anyway, then on this side, after the onions, as our onions, that's what we got. Then I have an Anaheim chili here, so we can make some nice spicy chili rellenos. And then I have 2 additional yellow bell peppers because we had extras in the box, of course, because there's never always 6 when you buy something like that. It's weird, but that's what we got. And then I put additional bell peppers here because I ran out of space, because for the yellow peppers we had probably close to 11 instead of just the 6. So I have the row of these here, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have a total of 10 of the yellow, and then of the greens, of course it's supposed to be a 6-pack, and as you can see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I actually did end up with 10. The last one on the very end, I put 2 of them in that one there because it can grow bigger and it can go up against the fence if it needs to climb, or sometimes you don't actually get everything to grow after you plant it. So even if we get 50% yield out of the plants, then we're doing really, really good. If we get 100%, that's even better. You know, definitely hope that God blesses us with that. We have a lot of peppers, a lot of onions growing. The leeks, not necessarily for salsa, but it's a new thing we're going to try to grow this year. Onions we grew last year. They turned out okay. These are actual ones we're starting from the bulbs that we bought in a big multi-pack, so we'll see how that turns out. These first couple rows here, the mound next to the bricks here has potatoes in it, seed potatoes. I don't know if you can see the little package right here. It's got seed potatoes, supposed to be the harvest blend, I guess multiple colors or something, I don't know, but some kind of weird potatoes, whatever my wife picked out. And those are buried along that line there. Then continuing on, we have our, besides our dog, we have green onions going on into our garlics on the very end. And the garlics are just an annual thing. We've left those in. This is like the second year going. My wife uses the tops as well as for a lot of the Asian dishes that she cooks. So it's good to have those as well as green onions. You use the tops. We're also letting a couple of them pod out to seed so we can have some more seeds. We actually started these from bulbs last year, but they've progressed and we've actually transplanted them from last year to this year. These spots here that you can see in the next mound over that has the straws are actually going to be different types of zucchinis and squashes. We learned from last year to plant these things farther apart. We put them about a foot apart last year, and these plants grew really huge. They grew close to 3 feet high and about 3.5 to 4 feet wide outside of the mounds, and they just kept producing zucchinis. We got zucchinis in our freezer. We got zucchinis we were giving away. We were to members of our church. We traded them away to the local fruit barn area for some other vegetables that we didn't grow that particular year. And I think we ended up having some when we actually pulled the plants out. We actually had some still trying to grow on there. It just kept producing. We thought it was dying, and then it started to bud again, flower, and then boom, more came. So as you can see here, we've got 3 empty rows on this half, and we've got 4 empty rows on this half that we still have to plant on. My wife is currently seeding up some more pots to start some starter little bushes. Hopefully we're going to have some more plants in the ground within the next couple days because we have some good weather, as you can see. Hopefully you guys can hear me with the wind. I know it's a little windy out here, and I know as you turn the camera, the microphone gets hit by the wind and it sounds funny, but hopefully not. I believe I showed you these ones before. Our blueberries in the ground. Blueberry, and yes, a small fig tree. My wife wanted to plant an extra fig right next to where we're going to put our fence line. These are raspberries, and I bought a grape, and then we have some older grape vines in underneath this little cage here. They don't look like they're producing anything or growing, but you know, most of the time they are kind of dormant and they look like a stick anyway, so we're going to give it a chance and see if it takes. If not, rip them out and go buy some more from the home improvement center. Then periodically through this lumpy area you can kind of see a little darker earth area, and yes, another straw to mark these little spots here. These are little areas just kind of spewing apart because this is the area we're going to set aside for any type of vining vegetables and fruits and stuff. I believe these ones are cantaloupes and melons. So there's a couple of Asian melons and some cantaloupes that are growing here, going to be growing here. That's where those are marked. The bricks that you see out are in line with our original 3 fig trees that we planted, and those ones are planted where they're supposed to be, and then we put a couple of bricks the same distances apart in case we wanted to buy some other fruit trees. We're probably going to eliminate one of these bricks and just put a peach tree in at the end here. I'm a little bit leery of that, but the way the sun works here, and because it's so close to this tree line, I'm pretty sure that it won't block the sun from anything that's needs sun more than half the day. So we should be okay even when it gets to be a mature plant. The rest of this we re-rototilled it the second time, and we are going to be planting some other viney things in this particular area. We're going to be doing more like the watermelons and more cantaloupes and different melons from other countries and cultures and all that weird stuff. And for my kids, you know what those things are. You know, your mother picks a lot of weird stuff and eats a lot of weird stuff. Well, this is where she's planting those, outside of my regular garden, which has to be identified with little markers so that I know where everything's at. Of course, we have, again, our asparagus, which is growing really well. My wife put in a few more starter plants in there so we can have more asparagus. And as you can see, these are really, really tall growing plants, even though you only cut off the bottoms and eat them. It takes a couple of years for them to actually mature enough so that you can start eating them, you know, cutting them and eating them. We've had these in the ground since last year, and they are almost mature enough to start cutting a few of them off so she can have, you know, 6 or 7 spears this year, and then next year there'll even be more. Strawberries, one of my favorites. We are currently picking strawberries every day and eating them because they are just growing really nice. We did the cow manure with these, and they just love that fertilizer. These things are growing, as you can see, really tall, and the leaves are getting really big and wide, and that shows that they're happy where they're at. So as you can see, a lot of red showing in there, which means I get to come out here and get some more strawberries soon. We still have these big Asian radishes growing in here. We do have some seed pods that are popping up on these things, so that'll be good. That means we can pull up, as soon as they dry out, we can pull these up and get the radishes out. We also have red leaf lettuce growing wild out here, which is really good because we do eat a lot of this. So we will probably have to try to transplant this. If not, we do have it in a couple other areas in the yard, along with like celery growing in our flower bed outside our bedroom window. Don't ask me why. It's a mom thing, kids. But we're going to be pulling these out, and we are going to be filtering through or thinning down this strawberry patch and making it into a secondary strawberry patch, so that we'll be able to get in here and walk through, and then they'll just progress more and more and more, because we do want to try to eventually make some jellies and can strawberries and stuff to save those, preserve them for later. And what else do we have out here? We have, if you can see way over yonder, we have this little green pit. This is an Asian vegetable that, if I can focus in on it, that my wife planted, and she puts this particular stuff in salads, and they also put it in some like mandoos. I guess it would be like an egg roll or a pot sticker for most people, but Korean people and Asian people call them everybody calls it something different, but that's what she uses that one for. The same with this patch of weird green weeds looking stuff that's here. This also gets chopped up and put into different Asian things. We're probably going to be, there's so much of this, my wife's going to be cutting some, and we're going to be taking it to a local Asian market to see about maybe selling it to the lady, the owner, or because sometimes the owner lady buys it for herself instead of just selling it in her store, and sometimes we'll trade her for other merchandise in her store for other stuff that we, you know, just can't grow out here, stuff that we would need. But that's where we're at today, and We're looking at hopefully getting fencing as well to fence in the entire gardened area, not where the fig trees are. This fence line is going to be in between the garden and the fig trees. But all the rest of the garden area has to be fenced in before the deer start coming in here and realizing that they've got some nice fresh meals over here to eat. And to eliminate some of that, I'm going to be putting some deer corn out in the corner so that they'll, come by to get the deer corn and then travel right back out into the woods, out till we have a little creek in the back, on the back acreage back here, that they like to go get a little drink of water. So they travel right through these bushes, across the back of our property, and then out the tree line to the other side, which is my sister's and my brother's properties, because we all have adjoining properties here. So I've got plenty of property for animals to come through here. But with the deer corn on the back here, it's about, I don't know, probably 80 to 90 feet from my back deck, so I can just lay out on my back deck and take out a deer during deer season from there, no problem. So, of course, this is not a hunting video, because YouTube doesn't like anything to do with guns anymore, so we won't talk about that. But again, if you kill it, eat it. Killing is not for sport, killing is for food. Thanks for watching.